Hello, welcome back to Coding with Juicy. We are resuming our discussion talking about different data types for programming. Last time we talked about integers, doubles, floats, things like that. And this time we're going to be talking about characters, strings, and booleans. A character can store any ASCII value or otherwise any character available on your keyboard. There's a little example here of how to initialize a char, which you could do char c equals a. This could only be one character, could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, equal sign, whatever. You cannot store more than one character in a char variable, so you can't have this char c be a b or something like that. Just one character and that's it. There are some special characters called escape characters that traditionally are difficult to express or have a special meaning within a string. Some of those, for example, that we use commonly would be /n, and make sure these are backslashes as well. So \n, \t. We've got a single quote, a double quote, and then a \\\, if you need to put an actual backslash into a string. Speaking of strings, strings are a sequence or collection of characters. This sequence or collection can be a word, sentence, multiple paragraphs, whatever it may be, as long as you put them within quotation marks. So they can contain letters, numbers, symbols, spaces, and all of these must be contained, like I said, within those quotation marks. So for example, in Java, this would be capital S for string, string hello equals hello world, don't forget the semicolon, and then you could obviously take this string and use it wherever you would need to. Booleans can only store two values, true or false, or a 1 and a 0, based on what language you're using, and you can sometimes use them both ways as well. Boolean logic can be expressed as simply as a yes or no question, such as, is your favorite color blue? Most people will say yes or no. That could be a Boolean, for example. You obviously wouldn't have this specific question in a code assignment or whatever, but you get the point. Yes or no, only two options available. That's what you want to use. There are also Boolean operators as part of Boolean logic. We've got an and most of the time you're using two and signs on your keyboard. And with an and, both sides of an argument must apply. So if you want to say favorite color equals red and blue, you would check for red and blue. If favorite color is both, you're good. Kind of weird example, but just off the top of my head, talk about colors, so there's that. An or, which you traditionally use with double vertical bars, one side of the argument must apply. So is your favorite color red or blue? If either side applies, if you like red or blue, you can continue on with that conditional logic. And then a not, you would use an exclamation point. You could say not favorite color, or is favorite color not equal to blue. Then you could say maybe their favorite color is red or yellow. And if it's not blue, then you would resume with whatever. You just do not want blue. So we've got some code that we're going to go look at. Okay, so here we are in our code. We are still in the same file or same project as our other one. That's just here on main. I made a separate class called string char bool. So to start off, I did do a little pre-work. We've imported a scanner, which we're going to need this scanner to take in user input. I just have made a little fun example that we can use to show characters and different things. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out with a, oops, can't spell, system.out.println. We're going to say enter a grade. Or actually, no, we're going to do current grade, okay? And then I know we don't have a grade made yet, but let's do that up here. So we're going to say char grade equals, and we'll say all the grades start at A, right? So the current grade is going to print out an A after the current grades message there. And then we're going to say enter a grade, and we're going to do like a 0 through 100, so like a score. We'll say enter a score. Yeah, that'll be it. That'll be it. And that should be good. And then we're going to say int score. It's kind of helping us out again, but I'll type it out. It's going to be S. So our scanner up here, this is how you take user input. We're going to say s.nextInt. It's going to read whatever the user enters in after this prompt as score. We're going to store that information in score. And then you could use a little, we're going to say we want to do an if-else branch here. And there's other ways to do this as well, but if you're looking to do like a range, especially in Java, um, you kind of have to use an if-else conditional check. So we're going to say if your score is between 0 and below 60, then we're going to say that your grade is an F, obviously. We're going to say else if, it's going to help us here with some of it. We're going to say 60 to 70. That's obviously going to be a D. And then a 70 to an 80. It is helping us out a lot now that it knows what we're doing. And 80 to 90, of course, we're looking at a B. And then else, we don't even need a check for the above 90. We just say grade is A. I know it's kind of redundant here, but you can also just leave that off, right? So you can just leave that. You don't need the else. Though you could say, we'll still do it just in case they enter something between or above 100 or whatever, for example. So we will go with that. This could be deeper, of course. You could make this, you could have conditional checks to make sure users only enter between 0 and 100 and different things like that. But we're not going to go that deep. So we're going to go system.out.println grade. I guess we'll make it current grade like the top. So that should show whatever the user inputs there. And let's give that a try, right? So we're going to click this. Current grade is A. Let's say we're going to enter a score. We're going to say 76, and that's going to be a C. So that's what we've got so far, and that's looking pretty good. Strings are not too crazy. So if we're going to look at some strings here, we're going to use system.out.println, and we're going to, oh, sorry, not that. We're going to actually just initialize a string here. So in Java, you do capital S for strings. Other languages, you just do lowercase. But if you try and do this, it will be very mad. So we can just say string, and we will just make this hello world. A nice classic statement there. And then just to show you, we'll just print out string, boom. And we'll keep riding here. We'll show the example in a second, but there's a couple different things you can do with strings. Let's do string hello equals hello. And then we will do string world equals world. Oh. And then, so there's a lot of different operations you can do with strings, but we'll just show a pretty classic one. A couple different options. We've got string.out or system.out.println, and we're going to say we want to uppercase this. So we're going to say uppercased string, and we're going to do plus to concatenate the strings together. So you can use a plus inside a print line in Java to connect strings. So right here, we've got our typed out string. We're going to add on hello to uppercase plus a space and then another plus. So this is going to do the hello all uppercase with a space in the middle because there's no space in our strings. And then we're going to do a world to uppercase as well. So if we run this, we're going to have to go through here. We'll just hit an 80. Hello world, uppercase string, hello world. So if you see we've got the hello to uppercase plus a space, world to uppercase, which is pretty nice. You could also reshape this a little bit. So say you don't want to do multiple uppercase methods here. We could do a parentheses. We do hello plus the space plus world, and then you would do the two uppercase on this combination here. So now if we run it again, just to show you it does the same thing, do 90, boom, there it is. And then our last thing here, just some Booleans. We're going to do system.out. No. Well, I'm going crazy. Let's do a good even check, okay? Let's do Boolean is even equals false. This is how you initialize a Boolean, just really easy. Boolean, name it, false or true. And then we're going to say system.out.println not is even. I should have not have let that fill. We're going to say enter a number. And then same thing as earlier, we're going to use our scanner. We're going to do int number equals s dot next int. This is going to take the user, have them enter a number. Like I said, you could error check that, make sure it is a number and different things, but we're not going to deal with that right now. So to do an even check, you would use some modulus math. So if the number modulus 2 equals 0, so basically it's going to take this, it's going to divide it into over and over and over, and if it doesn't equal 0, then it's odd. So we're going to say is even true. If this is true, if number divided by 2 over and over and over is 0, it's true. Or it's even, which we're going to set it to true. Otherwise, we don't need the else, but otherwise it is false because it's already set to false here. And then we'll say if is even, so this is saying if is even is true, which if it is even, it's going to set it here. We're just going to say system.out.println number is even, and then else number is odd. And of course the IDE is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, autofilling for us. But if we run this now, we're going to get score 90. We're going to say whatever, and then enter a number. This is our now our Boolean section here. Enter a number. We're going to say 85. 85 is odd. Done. And then just to show you it does work with the math, we're going to enter a 90. 90 is even. So simple as that. And hopefully that gives you a decent understanding of what characters are, what strings are, and then you can look up and research a lot of the other string operations. You can search for different characters within a position in a string or whatever else. So strings, booleans, characters, that's what you get. And hope you guys gained something from this video. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.